Plants don't have eyes, they don't have brains, and yet somehow they have this uncanny ability to find light. This isn't just some simple instinct. It's a really sophisticated biological program. It's a whole story of perception and movement that's happening in slow motion right before our eyes.
I mean, think about that plant you have on your windowsill. You've seen it do that slow motion dance, always bending towards the sun. It seems so simple, but have you ever stopped to think, how does it actually know where the light is coming from? Well, that's the exact mystery we're going to unravel.
So there's a scientific name for this, of course. It's called phototropism. And at its core, the definition is simple. It's just a plant's directional growth in response to light. But believe me, that simple definition is hiding this remarkably complex and, honestly, elegant system of chemical signals and cellular mechanics.
To really get this, our story has to start over 140 years ago, with a pretty familiar name, Charles Darwin. Long before we knew anything about plant hormones, he and his son Francis were absolutely captivated by this question, and they conducted this series of brilliantly simple experiments to try and uncover the secret.
Darwin knew this wasn't just some neat party trick. In his 1880 book, he recognized that this ability to move and seek out light was absolutely fundamental. It was a key driver of plant evolution and survival, allowing them to compete and thrive in really crowded places.
So, how did he figure it out? Darwin's experiment was just so elegant. Okay, first step, a normal seedling bends towards light. No surprise there. But then when he snipped off the very tip, the bending just stopped. Then he tried covering just the tip with a tiny light-proof cap. It also stopped bending. But here's the kicker. If he covered the stem below the tip, it bent just fine. The conclusion was inescapable. The plant sees the light with its tip.
And this brilliant deduction led to the next huge question. If the tip is the eye, but the bending happens further down the stem, how does the tip communicate its message? Darwin hypothesized there must be some kind of invisible signal, some kind of chemical messenger that was traveling down from the tip.
And he was right. It took decades, but scientists finally identified Darwin's mysterious messenger. And when they did, they unlocked the biochemical secret behind how a plant physically bends itself towards the light.
That messenger is a hormone called auxin. Think of auxin as this powerful growth fuel for plant cells. When a cell is exposed to it, it doesn't divide. It just elongates. It stretches. And this one simple function is the absolute key to the entire process of phototropism.
Okay, here's how it all comes together. When light hits one side of the plant's tip, auxin gets sent down the shaded side of the stem. So this high concentration of auxin on the dark side causes those cells to grow much, much faster than the cells on the lit side. This difference in growth physically forces the stem to bend towards the light. It's just an incredibly efficient mechanical solution.
Okay, so we know the tip sees and then sends an auxin signal. But is the plant responding to all light equally, or is it maybe looking for something a little more specific? Well, it turns out plants have a favorite color.
Yep, the key trigger for phototropism isn't just any light. It's specifically the blue part of the light spectrum. The plant is finely tuned to detect these blue wavelengths to orient itself. And that makes a lot of sense because blue light is super abundant in sunlight.
And the molecules responsible for this are called phototropins. These are the actual photoreceptors. They're the plant's eyes, located in the cells of the tip. They're a type of protein, and their entire job is to absorb blue light. When they do, they kick off the whole chain reaction that sends auxin down to the shaded side.
And these phototropins aren't just a one-trick pony. No way. They're basically the master regulators of a plant's entire relationship with light. They also manage the opening and closing of leaves, the movement of chloroplasts inside the cells to maximize photosynthesis, and even the opening of stomata. Those are the tiny pores a plant breathes through.
All right, now that we've established how plants masterfully grow towards light, I'm about to throw a real curveball at you. Because in the world of plants, sometimes survival means you have to break the rules, and they do it in the most brilliant way possible.
It seems like a fundamental rule of nature, doesn't it? Plants need light to live, so they grow towards it. But what if, for some plants, that's actually the wrong strategy?
So let me introduce you to scototropism, or negative phototropism. It's this amazing behavior you see in certain plants, especially young climbing vines like a monstera, where they actively grow away from light and towards the deepest shadow they can find. It seems completely counterintuitive, until you understand the logic.
Why would a plant grow towards the dark? Well, think about it. On a dim forest floor, what casts the darkest shadow? a massive tree trunk. And for a young vine, finding that trunk is priority number one. It's a ladder to the sun-drenched canopy. So growing towards darkness isn't a mistake, it's a brilliant shortcut to success.
And this just brilliantly illustrates the two sides of the same coin. Most plants use positive phototropism to get that immediate light, but for others, scototropism is more of a long-term investment strategy. Find a support structure first, then climb to where the best light is. Two totally opposite behaviors, but both are driven by the exact same ultimate goal: survival.
So the next time you see a houseplant leaning towards a window or a vine snaking up a tree, remember what's going on. It's not just a plant, it's this sophisticated organism actively perceiving its environment and making complex decisions. It really makes you wonder, what else are they sensing that we can't even begin to see?